Why is no one talking about that? Why is no one talking about that? In the course of the recent Nintendo Direct, Nintendo announced to expand their offering regarding the Nintendo Switch Online membership with Game Boy Classics as well as Game Boy Advance titles. It was heavily rumored a long while ago and just a matter of time to happen. Of course, there were quite some Kirby entries, especially some spin-offs titles for the Game Boy, so it seems like the Switch turns out to be just as Kirby present as the 3DS. But there's one more specific Kirby game which seems to drown among all these timeless favorites. I cannot deny the benefit of the Minish Cap, Golden Sun or Mario and Luigi, all amazing titles you should play. As usual, we also got a hint for upcoming releases and of course, I was happy to see Kirby and the Amazing Mirror on this list. Now, if you know this channel, you're probably aware of how much I cherish this experimental game in the series. It didn't necessarily revolutionize the genre nor the franchise, but tipped its toes into the exploration aspect like no other Kirby title. Especially the multiplayer with 4 people needs all the appreciation it deserves, since you are able to walk around the open connected world without needing to be on the same screen and could explore independently wherever you like. This setup was a little ahead for its time, to be honest, and everyone who enjoyed the multiplayer can certainly confirm the sheer fun it provided. Normally you get restricted with these kind of ideas being stuck to the same screen as I mentioned, or some other potential leaving limitations, but no, not in this case. When a friend needed help, you could just call them and immediately teleport to each other. It was certainly a unique Kirby adventure, but what is all the fuss about? Why do I need to make an extra video about a Kirby game you could also already download on the Wii U, which is not the most popular entry and still needs time to come out? Well, truth being told, I'm very surprised not enough people are talking about it, but you can finally experience the Amazing Mirror the way it was intended to at its release. For people who are not aware what I mean by that, here's a little background about the topic. In order to play Kirby and the Amazing Mirror with other people, you need to connect your Game Boy Advances with the help of the link cable, an ancient wire used to attach your handhelds. It was the primary way to trade Pokemon back in the day and the forerunner for wireless connections. At this time, we didn't know it better, and especially as a child, it didn't come across as annoying to sit together nearby with the cable awkwardly linking your Game Boys. The only problem with a setup like that were countless connection errors. The moment someone moved his device a little too much or fumbled on the link cable. It was frustrating, but worth the experience. Technically, you can still play the game like that, but let's be honest. No one is ready to willingly endure this uncomfortable setup today, and all the people who played this game as a child are now fully grown and are obviously not going to play Amazing Mirror on a device, which is now more like a toy for toddlers. Here comes all hailed emulation into play, and despite the fact I never tried it, there are ways to experience the multiplayer with modern technology. The thing is, this is not official. With emulation, everything is possible, but if we leave out the passion of fans who are willing to create such an opportunity, there's simply no way to play the Amazing Mirror how the developers wanted it to be played. How many times did I see people today going through the game for the first time, liking it, but thinking it was nothing special? The backtracking can be annoying, being lost is confusing, and just playing by yourself doesn't capture the magic of Amazing Mirror's potential. Normally, you would find yourself with your friends, get confused together, and splitting up in order to maximize the chances of discovering a new secret. All of this is lost when wandering through the labyrinth of the game alone, which is why you cannot really blame people for simply thinking it is only alright at worst and good at best. Imagine playing Mario Kart or 3D World alone. You are going to enjoy yourself to some extent, but it is nothing compared to sharing this adventure with other people. And here comes the Direct into play. In case you have forgotten, with Nintendo Switch Online you are able to play every game on the service online with your friends. This is one of the redeeming qualities of this questionable service, and also an amazing feature for multiplayer-centered titles like Mario Kart 64. You most likely understand the point I'm trying to make. For the first time since its release, this is going to be a way to play Kirby and the Amazing Mirror in multiplayer without any secondary technology or other obstacles. On top of that, people don't have to sit nearby again and can comfortably play online and explore the world of mirrors finally. For the longest time, I really thought they're going to remake the Amazing Mirror for this very reason, since it was kinda teased in Triple Deluxe, but sadly, it never happened. While I still hold my hopes high for a remake someday, I kinda lost my main argument for such a deed. You can always point at Nintendo Switch Online and everything else about the Amazing Mirror aged perfectly fine, minus smaller quality of life improvements, so a sacrifice worth doing, I suppose. Of course, maybe for some reason it will not work out. This is Nintendo we are talking about after all, but I'm not aware of any exceptions so far, and it would make this video obsolete in hindsight. But this cannot happen, since Nintendo would probably leave out a multiplayer-centered game all by itself if it wouldn't work. They simply wouldn't implement the Amazing Mirror for this very reason, but maybe they would. As I said, it's Nintendo. So what do I actually try to imply? One simple thing: if this game comes out and you are like me and dumb enough to pay for this service, I heavily advise you to grab other people and try out the Amazing Mirror with multiplayer. It's a Metroidvania but Kirby basically, without giving you abilities to progress, and after beating the first boss you have all the freedom to tackle this adventure in every order you like. It's even very likely to not find all the bosses in the right order, but do not get frustrated at the start. Maybe when the game comes out I should be doing a guide or something like that, how to enjoy the Amazing Mirror. I have seen some people being confused how to properly enjoy it, so it might not be a bad idea. Well, I'm starting to gush again. I think you understand what I'm trying to say. The Amazing Mirror was just a little ignored among the Metroid Fusions, Golden Suns and Zeldas, so that I felt the urge to put the spotlight into something that seems to be regarded as a simple, not special Kirby entry. Only time will tell how well it's going to work out, but I'm just glad I can get lost in one of my biggest childhood games with other people again. Every excuse to make a video about the Amazing Mirror is a good one.